In this video, we are going to take a look at how you can use Lammu Portable Photo Organizer to manage and view your photos and videos. Lammu is a portable device. Everything Lammu needs to run is stored on the device. You can plug Lammu onto any modem Windows computer and it will run. I'm going to connect Lammu to a USB port on my computer now. Once Lammu drive is plugged into your computer's USB port, Windows will recognize Lammu as a storage device and show the list of files under Lammu drive root. There is a PDF user manual named Lammu User Guide.pdf. Lammu has a lot of features. Some are not very obvious. You will find it very beneficial to read through the user guide at least once. To start Lammu, simply double-click on the Start Lammu executable file. 2. User Interface. Lammu User Interface is divided into three areas: Main Menu, Action Bar, and the Main View. On the left is the Main Menu. This is where you select different views to navigate your photo library. Lammu lets you view photos by timeline, people, places, maps, events, calendar, special days, albums, tags, folders, and favorites. At the top of the window is the Action Bar. The Action Bar contains buttons for the current view context. The buttons will change as you navigate to different views. The rest of the screen is the main view for displaying photos. 3. Timeline. When Lammu starts, the default view is the timeline. Timeline view displays all your photos in chronological order. With the timeline view, you can see all your photos and videos in one place. The photos are sorted by date and grouped by year. If you want to filter photos for a given year, you can either click on the year label in the timeline view, or you can use the Select Year button from the top action bar. To go back to the timeline view, click on the arrow at the top left of the window. As you move the mouse over the thumbnails on the timeline view, the data for each image is displayed, along with the total number of photos for that day. If you click on a thumbnail, you will be taken to the list of photos for that day. When you have a list of photos displayed, there are a number of things you can do. You can play a slideshow of all the photos on the list by clicking the Slideshow button at the top. You can select some photos, then right-click and perform actions on them. For example, put them in an album, assign them as favorites, tag them, export them to a thumb drive so you can share or print them. You can also change the date if these are scanned photos, or assign GPS location if the photos were taken without GPS information. By default, the thumbnails are displayed in small squares. You can change the thumbnail size by clicking on the thumbnail size buttons at the top right of the window. If you want to view a photo or video, simply double-click on the thumbnail. For photos, you can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out. Drag with the mouse to pan. Clicking on the photo or video will toggle the display of control buttons. You can use the previous and next buttons to navigate. When you check the Manage People checkbox at the top left corner, the list of people in the photo will be displayed. Lammu also draws red circles around each of the faces recognized from the photo. When you click on a person on the list, their face will be highlighted. In case there are faces that Lammu did not recognize, you can click on the Add or Remove People button to add them to the list. To add a person, simply select a name from the list on the right side and drag to the left. If you added a person by mistake, you can remove them by dragging them from the list on the left to the list on the right. If there are any faces recognized by Lammu that are not of any interest to you, you can remove them by dragging them from the list at the top left to the list at the bottom left. You can put a star rating on the photo or video. If you rate it a 4-star or higher, it will show up in the favorites view. You can rotate a photo to adjust orientation if needed. You can put comments on photos and videos. Anything you write will be displayed at the top of the photo or video. The Info button will show information about the media file, including original source location and dates. This might come in handy if you ever wonder where in your computer did Lammu import the photo from. Whenever you're on the list of photos, you can also view a slideshow. The Slideshow button on the top action bar will play a slideshow of all the photos and videos in the current list. You can also select some of the photos and then right-click on the selection to start a slideshow of only the photos you have selected. If you have imported music into Lammu, you can also play background music during the slideshow. There are many other things you can do with a list of photos. You can add them to albums, favorites, or tag them. You can also export photos so you can share them or print them. You can change the dates if needed or set GPS locations. When you need to select many photos to perform an action, the easiest way is to use checkboxes. You can turn on checkboxes by checking the checkbox at the top of the list. For people. When you import photos, Lammu will automatically detect and recognize faces. You can see all the people in your photo library from the People view. When Lammu completes the initial face recognition, all the people are unnamed. You can name each person by right-click on the person and then click Name this person. Double-click to see photos of a person. When you're viewing faces of a person, you can change the profile photo for the person. Right-click on the face, and then select Set as Profile Photo. By default, the list will display faces of the person. You can switch to thumbnail mode by clicking on the Thumbnails button in the top action bar. When you're in the thumbnail mode, you can choose different thumbnail sizes. You can also perform actions just like other views of a list of photos. Based on who have appeared in the same photo, Lammu can generate a social network view of all the people in your photo library. You can use your mouse wheel to zoom the view. You can drag the mouse to pan the view. When you mouse over a connection, a tooltip will display showing the two people connected. If you double-click on the connection line, Lammu will show all the photos that have both two people in the connection. While the social network view is generated automatically based on co-appearance of people in photos, you can also easily create a family tree. You can start with anyone in your family as the starting point. Click on the Add First Person to Start button. Select anyone from your family. Once you have a person on the tree, you can then add others using parent, child, and spouse relations. If there are relatives that you want to add to the family tree, but there are no photos of them in your photo library, you can do that by creating a new person without photos. In the future, when you do have photos of them, you can assign those photos to them. Once you have created a family tree, you can save the tree to an image to share with relatives. Right-click on an empty area, then select Save Family Tree to Image. With Lammu, you can easily find group photos by people who have taken photos together. Click on the Find Groups button, then select people you want to search. Click the Submit button. Five, Places. If your photos contain GPS location information, Lawmo will automatically group the photos taken from the same place and identify the place names. The list of places are sorted by country, state, and city. The place names are derived from the GPS information stored in your photos. You can edit the place names if you like. If the place name identified by Lammu is not familiar to you, you can check out the location on the map. For photos without GPS information, you can manually set their location so they can be put into known places. 6. Maps. For photos with GPS location information, you can find them from the map view. You can use the mouse wheel to zoom in and zoom out, and use dragging to pan the map. You can also click on the green oval markers to drill down the map until you get a list of the photos in the specific location. Seven, Events. When you import photos into Lammu, Lammu automatically generates events based on the date and time of the photos. By default, all events are named using dates. You can review the events after the import. Simply delete those events that do not make sense and rename the ones that are actual events. You can also remove photos from an event to clean it up. 8. Calendar. If you like photo calendars, Lammu has a built-in month calendar that showcases all the photos from your photo library. For each day that has photos and videos, Lammu will display the total number of photos and videos on that day, and up to 4 thumbnails of the photos. The number on the bottom left corner is the number of photos on that day. When you click on the day, a pop-up window will display additional thumbnails of photos. Double-click on the day that will display all the photos for that day. On the top action bar, there are buttons to navigate to different months. You can either use the Previous Month and Next Month button to navigate, or use the Select a Month drop-down button to get a specific year and month directly. 9. Special Days. Frequently, you might find yourself looking for photos of past holidays, birthdays, and anniversaries. Lammu makes it really easy to accomplish this. All federal holidays are built in. When you click on a special day, Lammu will show all the photos on that day, sorted by year. To create your own special days, click on the New Special Day button, enter a name, then select an existing category or enter a new category. Then choose the month and the day for the special day and the year it starts. Click Save. Now, if you click on a newly created special day, you will see all the photos from that day over the years. 10. Albums. Creating albums is the most classic way of organizing photos. In Lammu, you can create an album whenever you are viewing a list of photos. For example, if you are in the timeline view and are viewing a list of photos on the day, you can select some of the photos, then right-click on the selection and select Add to Album. From the pop-up window, either select an existing album or create a new one. You can also create an album in the Albums view first, then add photos to the album from any of the photo list views. If you have your photos on your computer that are organized in folders of albums, you can let Lammu create an album for each of the folders when you import photos. Lammu automatically selects a photo as the album cover. You can change the cover photo if you want. Right-click on a photo in the album and choose Set as Album Cover. If you want to change the name of the album, you can right-click on the album, then click Rename. After you have organized your photos into albums in Lammu, you can easily export these albums for printing or synchronize to your cloud storage for backup. You can either export a specific album or all the albums. To export a single album, right-click on the album and then click Export. You can choose a location to export to. If you want to export all albums at once, you can click the Export All button on the action bar. This will export all albums to the location you specify. Each album will become a folder under that location. If you have a cloud storage account and want to upload your photos to the cloud as albums, you can set up a folder on your computer's hard drive to be synchronized to your cloud account. You can then export all the albums under that folder. This way, each time you export to this folder, the new photos will be uploaded to the cloud by your cloud provider's synchronization client. 11. Tags. Tags are similar to albums. You can tag photos when you're viewing a list of photos. For example, if you are in the timeline view and are viewing a list of photos on a day, you can select some of the photos, then right-click on a selection and select Add to Tag. From the pop-up window, either select an existing tag or create a new tag. When Lammu imports photos, it will look at the original file path to see if any of the folder names looks like a keyword. It will tag all the photos under the folder with the keyword if it makes sense. 12. Folders. Lammu provides 4 types of hierarchical views for your photo library: cameras, dates, places, and original sources. All 4 views are generated automatically when you import photos. The camera folder view organizes photos by camera manufacturer, make, and model. The date folder view organizes photos by year, month, and day. The place folder view organizes photos by country, region, and locality. And finally, the original source view organizes photos using the original folder hierarchy from where the photos were imported. When you import photos into Lammu, if you let Lammu search the entire computer to find photos, sometimes you might get some unwanted images imported into Lammu. You can easily get rid of those unwanted images using the folder view. Once you have located the unwanted folder from the Folder by Sources view, right-click on the folder and select Delete All Media Imported from this folder. This will recursively delete all media files in Lammu that are imported from this folder. 13. Favorites. For photos you like the most, you can add them to favorites so you can find them easily. We have already seen that when you are viewing photos and videos, you can put star ratings on them. Those with 4 or 5 stars will be displayed in the favorites view. Another way to choose your favorite photos is when you are viewing a list of photos. Select the photos you like, then right-click on the selection and select Add to Favorites. (14) Search. When you have a large number of photos in your library, searching can be a very useful tool to quickly find the photos you are looking for. You can search for photos using either keyword search or advanced filters. To search for photos using a keyword, enter your search term in the search input box, located on the top left corner. After you type in 3 or more letters, Lammu will start looking for matches and the search result will be displayed. Lammu will search albums, events, file names, people, places, special days, and tags to find matches. Clicking on any of the items in the search result will show photos for that item. When you click in the search box, the Advanced Filters button will be displayed on the top action bar. Clicking the button will display the Advanced Filters form. With Advanced Filters, you can use filters such as date range, country, state, camera make and/or model, and media types to filter and find photos matching the specified criteria. If you want to find only the videos, you can uncheck the Photos checkbox, and then click the Search button. All videos will be displayed in the search result. When Lammu imports photos, exact duplicates of photos are automatically skipped. When you take multiple shots of the same scene, or if you edit a photo and save the edited photo, these result in similar images but are actually distinct files. Lammu will not count these derived photos as duplicates. If you wish to keep only one photo from a series of shots, you can use the Find Duplicates feature to identify all lookalike photos. Then you can review and delete unwanted variations. When you click the Search text box, the Find Duplicates button will be displayed on the top action bar. Click on the button and Lammu will ask some questions to define the strategy and then start to find duplicates. This can take a while to complete if you have a large number of photos, since there will be a lot of comparison in order to find photos similar to each other. (15) Access photos from other devices. Lammu runs on Windows only. However, you can access all your photos stored in Lammu from any of your devices that have a web browser. This includes smartphones, tablets, smart TVs, Mac, Linux, and other computers. The access is available for devices that are connected to the same network as the computer that Lammu is running on. To start viewing photos from devices, click on the Enable Device Access button at the bottom of the main menu. Elevated privilege is needed in order to allow other devices to connect to the computer Lammu is running on. Windows will prompt you to give permission. Click Allow, then Lammu Device Access Service windows will be displayed. Click the Enable Device Access button. A URL and an image with QR code will be displayed. For devices with a camera such as smartphones and tablets, you can use the camera to scan the QR code. You can then access the photos from a web browser on the device. From the device browser, you can view your photos by timeline, events, special days, people, places, albums, tags, and favorites. You can also download photos onto the device if you want. (16) Update Lammu software. Lammu does not automatically check for updates each time you run it. It's important to check and update your Lammu software once in a while in order to receive new features and bug fixes. To update your Lammu software, click on the Lammu logo at the bottom left of the main screen. Then, click on the Updates button in the action bar at the top right of the screen. The software update window will open. It will check if there are any updates available. It will then download and install the latest version of components. Report an issue. If you encounter any issues while using Lammu, you can report to the Lammu team directly from within Lammu. Click on the Lammu logo at the bottom left of the main screen. Then click on the Report an Issue button in the action bar at the top right of the screen. Simply fill out the form and submit. In this video, we had an overview on how to use Lammu Portable Photo Organizer to manage photos and videos. If you have any questions or encounter any issues while using Lammu,